Hello and welcome back to episode 36 of Not Another Leeds podcast, the Thunderdome of Leeds United content, where anything goes as long as you're not dressed like Tina Turner with spikes on your shoulders. We've got two famous guests tonight and one of the tripod legs in James. Are you okay, James? You good tonight?
Yeah, yeah. He just started calling us tripods for some reason, and I'm
Yeah,
one of the
because
legs.
the
Are you the
other
dick then?
tripod leg is not here. I'm the sturdy centre
Gotcha.
of the third leg. So it depends which way you look at it.
I'm good.
James was
No-
called Sam
no one wants
Allardyce,
to
a
look at
chewing gum wanker.
You deserve it.
My first guest
Defenders. Sorry.
tonight, James. I'll put you in the corner. I'm joking. My first guest tonight used to be in the original lineup of Hearsay, but due to different differences, he had to leave the group, didn't he, Smarty?
He had. I thought you were about Evie then. I thought, oh, really? I was in Bewitched.
Oh, bewitched.
I'm a bit of
Oh,
a fan of a bit of denim, you know. I've got a couple of denim studded jackets still kicking around
you
somewhere.
like to blame it on the weatherman.
That's right.
The younger viewers of this are going, "Why am I watching this rubbish?"
When my knees were
And
good and my back wasn't aching.
Do you remember when you just didn't ache? That was a good time.
Not
It
so
was a
long
really good
ago,
time.
to be fair, but yeah.
My second guest, we all know her. She recently came second in a sitting down competition. It's Eve Meister General herself, Evie. How we doing?
Evie. Yeah, all good. He's Meister. Yeah, all good. How are you?
I'm all right, yeah. As you can tell by my chins, I've got extra jokes stored in there for later on. As we go in, it'll go
Like a little
bit thinner,
hamster.
hopefully. And that's what,
Storing them up.
yeah. Right, yeah, so, what's that, Gary? Yeah, okay, I'll show them. The sponsor. We do have a sponsor tonight, and they've contacted me, and they need more revenue coming through because lately they've got a few more going in. But if you would like to pay attention, Leeds United injured player spa experience, and you get a complimentary JKA alarm clock to wake you up with time, and a Sinisteria scented candle. If you hashtag NALP36, you will get 10% off and a free massage behind the bins. That's what I just said. Yeah. The
Behind
the
the bins.
JKA
On a Lilo.
the JKA clock's only works for 54 minutes apparently.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Wow.
I
Expensive
had to look
minutes
that stat up. Yep, 13 grand a minute I think it worked out as. We'll talk about JKA later on. But yeah, it's good to have everyone back on. Let's talk about Coventry right quick then. Smartster. Not very. Yeah, I'm gonna give you so many nicknames. Smartmeister, Smarty Pants,
Smart
Coventry, Smart Steve,
Um,
Smart Diddy.
Coventry. Yeah, we could have done better.
Yeah,
We could have done better.
Yeah.
So much so that they could have not sent me to sleep. Any viewers of our podcast will have, if you'd have caught last night's show, I admitted that after a very, very heavy boozy Friday, Saturday I was not at my perky best, and I fell asleep just shortly after half time because I was bored to tears. Because it was a bit naff, wasn't it? It was a bit naff. The defending was absolutely shocking, and I expected much, much better.
Do you think it's, we've had a series of 4 games now where it's just, I thought we were better on Tuesday, but we'll talk about that. Like, I thought this was probably one of the worst games that you think you've played the season, man.
Absolutely nailed on. I think the international break has ruffled a few feathers with a couple of injuries and a couple of bits and bobs. And now I think the guys are starting to feel a little bit of pressure. We've been playing with quite a lot of freedom, with Leicester so far up. I do believe that if we'd have been in Leicester's position or Ipswich's position, we would have fallen away. I think the pressure would have got to us. I think they're a little bit fragile, this team. Maybe not like kind of, in seasons gone by when we've completely and utterly shut it and bottled it big time. But I'm just so glad that we've been playing catch up. We've managed to do it. 17 points is a hell of a haul to make up on, Leicester. And I think, always about 10, 11, 12 points behind Ipswich. And now I just think, obviously we'll get into the Sunderland game a little bit, but I just think they're a little bit hesitant. You can see there's a little bit of, they're not wanting to risk, they're wanting to play safe. and that's really not what we've been seeing from them for so long. Especially obviously since the turn of the year when we really, well, like I say, we're undefeated. We've been winning pretty much every game, and they've just been an absolute joy, and we've all been having a really, really good time. But now we're all shitting ourselves and living in anxiety fucking fest, and it's just not.
Yeah.
It's just not the same. And I think maybe I don't know if it's the fans that have leaked that into the players, and the players are kind of getting that kind of vibe from us. Who knows what it is? But they certainly need to crack on this weekend against Blackburn. That's for sure.
Especially after their results. I think they've won like 1-4, something like that, and they got battered on Tuesday 5-0. And we need to be putting them to bed on Saturday. Easter. Coventry, obviously, it was rubbish for us, but it was so flat, wasn't it? Especially coming on to the first goal of theirs, right? Where do you? I know we touched on it a little bit on Sunday, but Millier, where do you stand? Where does that goal stand for you? Is it his fault or is it the back line for you?
I think it's more of the back line than his fault. He probably could have done a tiny bit better, but in all honesty, I don't blame him for that. I think it was kind of a catalogue of errors, really. But yeah, I think Smarty's bang on in terms of the nerves are showing. The desire has been replaced by anxiety of getting up, instead of being like, oh my God, we're amazing. And what they need to realize is the reason how we've got where we are now is by playing with freedom. We wouldn't, if we'd have been playing like we are now since January, we wouldn't be here. So we just need to go back to playing how we were. And then we're fine, because we were defensively solid, scoring goals. We weren't scoring like a plethora of goals. We were just scoring enough to make it fairly comfortable, as watching Leeds is ever comfortable. But yeah, it was just flat. Everything about that game was probably the worst performance overall, in terms of the belief that they had. And there was no kind of, I know some people, obviously Gruev was coming back from injury. Roberts, again, was coming back. But they should know. They should have enough about them to be able to carry themselves forward. Obviously, Bamford was, he hasn't been in the games for probably the last 3 consecutive games now. We do play better when he's on the pitch, which is what makes him so frustrating, is because our structure is better when we've got him on, but him as an individual has not been, on it really. So very frustrating. But yeah, they had a better game plan. They followed through with their game plan. They deserved it. And to be fair, we got a draw from Watford that we probably didn't deserve, and we got a win out of Hull that we probably didn't deserve. So really, it was about time we got what we deserve. And I don't mean that to come across as really, negative, but we haven't been playing well, and we've somehow managed to get results. So it probably was just about the right result that we deserved for the previous 2 games.
Yeah, and like James, it's his first loss since the start of the year. Just coming away from a game and going onto social media. I don't think the meltdown in hindsight really was it warranted. I mean, obviously the pressure is getting there now. I mean, one loss in 3 months. You know what I mean? I know you're the most positive person I've ever met in my life. You belong on the other side of a battery for me. But I mean, what was your thought?
I thought that I didn't see it because I was driving. I didn't watch any of the games, so I was quite lucky in that fact. And I've been reluctant to rewatch it because we lost, and I don't like watching us lose. So it was going to be against Coventry, weren't it? It was going to be against Coventry. Like, of all the fixtures,
House Derby, by the way.
I'm from Coventry, you see. So it's like, for me, this is like, you bastard. So I've got to live in this shit. But yeah, we've been amazing. All year, we've been fantastic. I thought and I hate international breaks, but I thought at this point it could give us something, a little bit of a break, and it did. It broke some of our players, and we've come back not on it. Some do need a rest. Everything's sort of not working. Like Ampadu's runs and passes, they're just not going to anybody anymore. They're going astray. Bamford's not holding the ball up. So the good thing that he was doing is he's running, and but he's not really doing anything with the ball anymore, and he's just getting fouled. And we need to change it up a little bit, I think. And when it weren't sort of going over Christmas, he made them changes, brought Bamford in, it was working. Now we need to do the same again. So, yeah, I'm still confident that we're going to smash Blackburn tomorrow. So
yeah, we'll talk about that in a
yeah, we will, yeah.
bit, mate.
But yeah, I'm just confident, mate.
Yeah,
we'll
yeah, I know you are. Yeah, if I wanted anyone to, be positive, it's you, mate. You're so positive, it's unreal. More positive than mine.
Might as well be.
As I always say. Yeah, so I mean, I'd like to see your thoughts as well, Smarty, on the first goal. Where would you stand? Where do you stand on Millie? Is it Millie's fault, just to act quickly, or do you think it's the back line?
You have to remind me of frigging what the goal was.
Well, are you watching?
Him keeping it in the way he did, that was the mistake.
It was the corner. Was it the corner or the set piece one?
We got a corner,
Yeah.
and it went out.
He kind of flapped it in, and then it went over, and then it came back, and
he just hoofed it in the air. And I was like, "What? How is he managing to do that, man?"
There
there
were a
was someone who
second
marked
chance
the
where
back, weren't there? Shouldn't Rowan or someone have been marking someone or something? I can't really
Yeah,
remember.
we've
Like
just
I
stopped
say, it's
marking
not-
for some reason. Even the second goal was like, "What the fuck?"
The whole defensive display that game, from what I remember, obviously only very vividly, was in the first half. Was very, very poor, and not something that we'd obviously, well, definitely not something that we were used to seeing.
No,
but it's something that we just see time and time again. Melia just cannot catch a ball. Under pressure, he has got wrists like poppadoms and shits his pants, and it just goes and tries to flap at a ball. Usually gets muscled out. I mean, we've seen it so many times where he's ended up flat on his frigging face. And he does not command. I mean, he's only a slight bloke. He's quite tall. He's like a frigging beanpole, isn't he?
he needs to bulk up. He bulks up and just smash people out of the way.
You see
Does that Steve Evans diet, doesn't he?
The best keepers are aggressive, and he's just not aggressive. He's
Toy keeper, I remember him.
Poppadom gloves, whatever they can get hold of or whatever. Get out there, get your mitts around that chuffing ball, and now he's ending up watching it bounce around like a fucking dipstick.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it were poor. It were poor on all counts, really. The defense was shit, but Melia really should have dealt with that a lot better.
Yeah, but I do think that there were a point where Archie Gray, he could have just headed it out for another set piece, but instead he went to kick it over his head, and it went back out, and it got headed back in, and then there's an earthquake upstairs, and then obviously Ellis Simpson there. Or one of the kids. And SPCC, I'm joking. We've got Childline coming in. So obviously, just to round up that game, Evie, the second goal was just, to be fair, it was a great crossing, it was a great finish, and it just had to be an American player for the second goal.
They think he's shit as well, you know that. All Col fans think he's shit. He's fucking scored.
I just... Straight, they came out of woodwork, Evie. Obviously, you're not on Twitter, but the USMT fans came out. Yeah. But they came out in full force.
The Eve Meister.
Eve Meister General.
You give it, you got to take it, mate. That's where it goes.
Yeah. So, I mean, from our corner, nonetheless, Evie, we conceded a really good goal. And it's just pouring it, just to round it up.
Right. So, this is...
it's going to be a bad point when Evie goes right.
With a side as well.
Yeah.
So obviously the previous game when Summerville scores, he takes off his shirt and is there giving it the big uns with the Summerville, and obviously he gets a yellow card for that. It's a daft rule, but it's those are the rules. Now, for me, I would much rather a player gets on a yellow card for playing for the team, as in he could have stopped that counter attack. He'd have got a yellow card, but he could have stopped it, by putting in a bit of a tough tackle, or just something, shirt pull, just something to slow him down, unbalance him, gets a yellow card. That's a yellow card for the team. His yellow cards, most of the time this season, have been selfish yellow cards because they've been for doing something for him. And that's my only gripe with Summerville. He's been a fantastic player, one of our best players and most consistent. Even when he's been poor, he's still one of the best players on the pitch. But things like that, for me, you get that yellow card for the team and you risk your suspension for the team, not by taking your shirt off and holding up your own name to the camera, right? Because that's what it is being a team. You know, he could have stopped that goal. He just allows him to go past any. For me, if that's Dan James takes the yellow card. Dan James slows that. I mean, to be fair, he probably gets ahead of the player, steals the ball off him and starts a movement back again because he's just so bloody fast. But his defensive work is far superior than Summerville. Summerville's has improved, but for me, Summerville could have stopped that goal before it even got to the defence and the crappy defence in that game. But Summerville could have stopped that goal. So that out of all of the players involved in that could have stopped it subsequently, Summerville should have stopped it before it even got an actual threat. So, you know, and then, you know, you do that, you get a yellow card, they get a free kick, it's not in a dangerous area, everybody has time to get reset, and we just deal with it, and then we probably counter again, and then we could have scored from that. We have momentum from that. And yeah, I was disappointed in Summerville's defensive work in that game. His defensive ethics seem to have gone in that. No. I know I've just gone on a 5-minute rant about it's about the team, but he's our. If we're determined to go down the left, which I'm sure we'll come on to, as well as the fact that we don't utilise the right, he's our best player, and we've got 4 games left. It's not time for me. He's still, you know, he's scored in the last few games. He's scored, so there's less of an argument for him not starting than any other of our attacking players. You know, Rutter hasn't been great. Bamford hasn't been great. Dan James, I think, is still a little bit mentally fatigued from the Welsh games. And also we don't feed the ball down the right, so it's hard for him to actually do anything if we don't give him the ball. But out of the 4 attacking players, he's the only one who's actually contributed anything in the last few games. So no, I wouldn't drop him. We've got 4 cup finals left. It's not time for discipline right now, as in it's not time to prove a point and say you are undroppable when he's the only one of the 4 players who has actually scored in the last few games.
Well, if you did go to drop him, you'd show his t-shirt to you, wouldn't you? Do that and go some of them. Yeah. James, let's talk about that Perot miss right quick. I could not. My jaw has got carpet burn because it hit the bloody carpet. Believe it or not. I couldn't believe it when he. Why has he gone with his right foot over his left? I know he's ambidextrous, but 9 times out of 10 for me, Perot's burying that.
I think going with his right is that sort of confidence in him being able to do that. We've seen him do it against Millwall, win his first goal with his right foot as well. So yeah. So it's just, I think it's just a shit. He just shitty kicked it, didn't he? Just a shit hit, and it was crap. And it was just like, but that was going to happen? It was going to happen. We've lost. Just get over it. We'll score. Yeah, we'll score again.
Which takes us on to Sunderland now. I was in the middle of the field watching it on my phone because I was working. Smarty, you was in the ground, loving life for the first 15 minutes and stuff. Yeah. Were you awake this time?
Yes, I was.
Some hot chocolate and a sleeping bag in the south stand, is it?
Actually, no. Do you know what? The atmosphere was marginally better than a few of the last games. But we seem to be... You can pretty much time it now as well. It's around about 15 minutes. Around 15 minutes, it starts to go...
You shit now!
Yeah, it really does start to drop off because, you know, against Sunderland, we were so reserved and playing so defensively. You know, these there's a small cluster of teams in the middle of the Championship which have got nothing to play for. They're not going to go down. They're not going to go up. So they're playing with freedom. Cowards, might I say, in the case of Sunderland, because I expected them to kind of, like you say, play with that freedom and try and make a game of it. But they didn't. You know, they put up a frigging hell of a defence, pretty much 9 at the back. But we didn't want to take the risks. We didn't want to do anything. You know, so we'll end up passing the ball around the back 4 and back to Melia. Then we'll give it to Kamara. We'll do his little famous shimmy shaky, and then we'll pass it back to fucking whoever. And it's just like, Jesus Christ, this is shite. And it literally sucks the life out of the crowd. Honestly, mate, it's like a Dementor. Like you've got Dementors hanging over your shoulders, and there's like this fucking fog that's coming in. It's like, fuck me, this is great.
I see I see you're a man of culture.
Absolutely. I've been here a long time. But yeah,
what is our expecto patronum, mate? What is our expecto patronum? Attacking football, better attacking football.
I'm going to say something proper out there then.
Speed.
I remembered I wasn't on my podcast.
Yeah.
Flying
being
dick.
quicker.
No, joking. I don't know. Bolts of lightning firing out of someone's ass. I don't know. Something. Maybe some better football. Some goals. Maybe a number 9 that can score. I'm joking. I'm joking.
Thought you were in love with him.
No, I don't know. I'm not. You know, I mean, obviously, Evie's probably not been privy to a lot of the shit that's been on the X or the Twitter, whatever you like to refer to it as. But it's been absolutely bonkers since Sunderland. You know that it were a pure cesspit after Sunderland. There was that many. They were Fark out, came back out with a chuffing.
Fucking
hell, man.
So I completely avoided it at all costs. Because you can end up in some proper arguments because there's some absolute donkeys in our fan base. So you know what, like Evie's already alluded to, you know, Patrick Bamford is limited in ability for me in what he can do positively at the minute. You know, he's not what we've, you know, used to see a few years ago, especially not the Premier League Bamford, but he does do a lot for the team. And I know this frustrates a lot of people in the fan base, but without him, we just aren't the same, you know, and I'd rather have a half decent sort of Bamford that's going to run the channels, pull players here, there and everywhere and make room for other players to potentially score or not, in the case of the last couple of weeks, than not have him on the bench and have someone else up front. You know, there's a lot of talk about Matteo Joseph starting tomorrow. Again, you know, for me, I've found it a little bit frustrating on what day were it, Tuesday. Matteo Joseph's name starts getting sung around the stands around the 60th minute, and when it was the 71st minute that we introduced Nonto for Kamara, and we then didn't see any further substitutions till 82 minutes. Now, that was way, way too late, and it's something that's obviously we've been used to. It's something that we've seen quite a lot of, Fark making some changes really, really late. But when we were up against it, Nonto made an instant impact, but then so did Matteo Joseph when he came on the field. Now, people are bashing Bamford, saying he didn't do this, he didn't do that, but he wasn't getting the ball. He was starved of the ball because we weren't making them passes. You know, like you've already said, you know, Ampadu's been pretty poor in his long balls and stuff. Because from my perspective, we're passing it from side to side, we're going back, we're doing a shimmy shake, and we're passing it back, and then all of a sudden Ampadu thinks, "Fuck this, I'm going to belly it forward," and he gets cut out, and then they attack him. You know, we're making so many passes at the back. You could count maybe on one hand how many passes that, you know, Sunderland would make from their keeper, and they'd be at the edge of our box because they just want to go direct rather than go from side to side. These intricate little moves, and you know, it's really, really fucking frustrating. I'm going on a bit of a rant here, I apologise, but so yeah, it's all shit. It's all shit, really. It's all shit. It just needs to get better.
Johnny makes a good point here. Fans in the ground back players, morons online that don't go are the idiots spouting shit online, and that's true. Yeah. That is trolls for a reason, aren't they? Because they're faceless under the bridge.
Oh, sorry. I was making a point about Joseph. Sorry. 2 seconds. So yeah, my argument is we start Bamford because Bamford's not an impact player like Matteo Joseph is, and he's just not. Because if Matteo Joseph's not getting the football and then people are expecting a change or something to uplift, you know, maybe do something further forward, bloody Patrick Bamford isn't going to bring you that. Yeah. You know, you're relying on your Summervilles, your Anthonys, your Nontos now, and them sort of players to give you that lift. It did, but he's kind of got missing a little bit, hasn't he? But Matteo Joseph is one of the first names that you want to see at the side of the pitch when they're starting to make
Yeah.
substitutions.
He's got, because he's got that
He's
newfound
special.
confidence, hasn't he?
He's hungry and he wants it.
Yeah.
And he's scoring as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he has had good chances. Evie, like, why do you think Gelhart's just not been involved? Because he was the guy in the Premier League, albeit in a different squad.
Different manager, different expectations. He also hasn't pushed on. I mean, if Mateo Joseph is getting picked ahead of him, then he's doing more in training. He obviously and maybe Gelhart's doing well in training, but he's just not his type of player. So whereas Mateo Joseph is, because he is, not saying that he's a carbon copy of Bamford, but he is certainly giving us glimpses that he could be moldable and end up a similar type of player than Bamford, whereas Gelhardt isn't. And we still don't know what he is in terms of, is he a 10? Is he a 9? Yeah, but like, should he work would he work in a 4-4-2 better, or a 4-treble-2? What system does he actually work in terms of, whenever he's been good for us, he's been the impact sub. So it's usually been a bit chaotic, and I'm obviously talking about Premier League games, but he came on and he was just like this ball of energy. And I don't want Mateo Joseph to go down the same route as him. I don't think he will, because of the fact, he's not only doing well for us with limited appearances, but he's also scoring for, country as well. So I just don't think. Yeah, countries. Yeah, that is sad. I think he'll go at the end of the season, regardless of what division, because we'll have Farker next year, regardless, again, of what division we're in. So if he's not chosen him now, I don't think he'll choose him. So I think he'll go at the end of the season. But, whether we go up or whether we stay here, I think we'll sell him at the end of the season, because I don't think it'll be a loan. I think it'll be, especially with, I know we're going to talk about it a bit more, but a bit of cash in hand would probably do us well now, rather than, because if we are down, let's face it, we're going to have to loan a load of players back out again. So we want some actual cash in the bank. And unfortunately, I just don't see him working for us anymore. He missed it.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Apparently, those loan clauses are still active if we don't get promoted.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Well, there's talk of Aronson wanting a permanent deal. There's talk of Christensen being forced out of Roma, so he might go back to Austria. And obviously, Koch has gone for a free. Oh, thank you. And Voba there's talks of Voba going out on a permanent as well. But I don't think, like, we've spent 170 million on players, and I don't think we'll recruit that. But we'll talk about the accounts coming up anyway. Let's talk more about the Sunderland. I thought we need to talk about Rutter for me. I know he's had surgery, but he just doesn't look fit to play. If he's not fit to play,
I know he's had surgery.
I know he's had surgery and his gut's hanging out, but he gets away with it. He's got credit in the bank. Do not get me wrong. He's a great player, but it's so frustrating watching him try and do the hard thing. Like, there were a pass on Stan James out on the right. Instead of passing it to him, he turned into 3 players, and it happens again. And he'll try a pirouette, or he'll, like a Maradona, or he'll try going for the Megs. He loses the ball too easy for me. James, what do you mean? You're going to back into the hill, aren't you? Obviously, but it's so frustrating. It must be frustrating if you're Rodon and it keeps coming back because of Rutter.
But I mean, he does need to release it easier at times, most definitely. Like, we've said that all season. He has these games where he's just shit. Like, everyone, you can see he's shit, and then he'll have an easy pass and he won't make it because he's trying to make up for the fact that he's being shit, and he overdoes it. But then he's even more shit. But then he will do something. So he knows that he can do it. So, but he keeps trying and trying. But yeah, them easy passes need to happen. But also, I want to point out, the Welsh players are all shit at the moment, and you can tell we've conceded like 5 goals in 3 games, and that's like unheard of this season. So they're just obviously they've gone out, they've been knocked out. Maybe it means more to them than we've actually given credit for. And yeah, knackered as well, not having a rest. So
I think Roberts has looked all right.
Yeah.
But the other 3,
yeah, but yeah, they've just been off it, completely off it. Like that, the Hadji Wright goal against Coventry, like Roden, like he doesn't do that. He doesn't do that. Even if someone does make a mistake, he's usually there, like covering always. And he was just like, it was unusual. So maybe like the Sunderland game was like, right, we don't concede today, and we just concentrate on not fucking conceding. And the anxiety, like when your defense is shit, the forwards, it's all on them, and they're like, oh god, fuck, they're all shit, we're all shit. So clean sheet might be the kickstart that we need. I'm hoping it is anyway.
Yeah, I agree.
And we can just kick on. Maybe, and I agree as well. Yeah, with the fucking
even Jack Clark sent him for a bit of a, not a hot dog. I'd say more of a chipolata dog. It wasn't that big of a deal, but you know what Jack Clark's like. I thought he contained him rather well, to be honest, Jack Clark.
Yeah.
The
shots that went nowhere.
Yeah,
that's 2 games he's not been great against us. I know he's great against everybody else, but that's 2 games. Yeah, that Jack Clark has not been. He everybody was like, "Oh, Jack Clark this," and I was like, "Yeah, he did a lot of running." But we used to get frustrated with Dan James that when that's all he did, it just runs around. And we did the same with Aronson last year. And granted, he was actually shit. But, like, you know, that's all that Jack Clark did. Yeah, he managed a couple of shots and things like that, but didn't do anything. You know, Meslier kept him under control. And I thought Archie learned from his mistakes from the previous game. I thought he was brilliant in terms of he just kept him really, really quiet, and I think that'll do. I think that'll do him the world of good in terms of because he actually seems to make mistakes and learn from them. In terms of if he has a bad game, when it comes to the reverse fixture, whatever issues he had in that previous game, he's learned from them, and that's what. It makes him different to some other players in terms of young players across leagues. In the stuff of he doesn't think he's better than he is. You know, he goes and he's trying to learn as much and develop and things. But yeah, I think that there is something in the fact of the Welsh players not being on it. I think the Welsh are a lot more patriotic than we are in terms of we've got nobody in the England squad, so we don't really give a shit. Whereas obviously the Welsh team,
even our English players turn Spanish.
Well, yeah, exactly. So I think it has affected them. I think Rutter is playing through injury. I would probably bench him and have Nonto on in that number 10, have Dan James on the right, because as well, Rutter can be an impact player. We've seen it before. He can come off the bench and change a game. And if you're a tiring defender, midfielder, 60 minutes into a game, are you really going to want Rutter coming on, with his gangly arms and legs going off in all different directions, coming towards you? Like, no, you're not going to want that. And he'll be hungry as well, because he's been undroppable for most of the season. So if you drop him, it gives him that extra bit of fight as well to kind of say, no, I didn't like that. I don't want to be on the bench. I want to be starting. I'll take as many painkillers as possible, and I will make sure that I can play through the pain. As well, I think we've got a lot to play for in terms of this Saturday. We've got Stuart Dallas to play for. So if you can almost put the league out of your mind and just say, today is not about us, it's about him. We're playing for a player who literally sacrificed his career to try and help us. It was against Man City, so it was a bit of a lost cause, but like he'd still well, exactly, he literally is man of steel, isn't he? But and then when we're away, the away fans are a lot louder. There's less pressure because it's not a home game. you don't feel the nerves, because all the away fans, if you're paying and traveling hundreds of miles to go see them, then everybody's up for it. Whereas home fans are often a little bit more lethargic because it's on your doorstep. You do it every week. It's, this, that, and the other. There's lots of different reasons. But I think that the fact that we've got Stuart Dallas to play for on Saturday, then 2 away games where the pressure's not off, but you know what I mean? The away fans will really pump them, kind of thing. And then final game of the season at home, we've got something to play for, but hopefully by that point it won't have to mean anything. If we win the next 3 games, then I don't think that last game will mean anything. But if we drop any points, that last game will mean something.
Yeah, I can't really remember any clear-cut chances. As I like Smarty, you were there. I mean, like we mentioned it a bit off air, and you mentioned it earlier. It's just to Ampadu, to Archie, to Rodon, to Millier. Millier then lumps it forward, to which no one gets there. I mean, I did see Bamford making those. He was looking for the ball over the top at the time, set on his run, and then just turn out, and it would Kamara. I mean, was it? I know you said on your podcast, and what I'm about to say now. Let's talk about basketball and Luke O'Nine's slap. His absolute punch, Smarty.
Oh.
Yeah, it were
you said you could hear it.
Yeah, it was audible. Yeah. And apparently it went like that. I didn't see that because I was going absolutely
little bastard,
frigging mental. The shivering little shit that had the flag on our side at pitch as well. I was giving him some right shit as well. I think he was nervous because the Sunderland fans were in good voice, and I think he was just really shitting himself in front of them. I genuinely think he was just like, oh fucking hell, best not give him anything. Offside, or something like that. No, I didn't see that go in. I didn't see that. I didn't see that fucking punch that he just bloody did there. It's
the way.
Honestly, some of the stuff people talk about, obviously, that the EFL's corrupt and this idea. We all have a good laugh singing, the Football League's corrupt and stuff like that. And I've never really given it any sort of second thought. But sometimes when you see blatant stuff like that, I just think, people call us a cash cow because we do earn the EFL a lot of money. We are a very liked or very we are unique, but very massively watched outside of the British Isles and stuff like that. We're quite an extensive club. People want to watch us. People want to see us fail.
Yes.
And sometimes I just think, how can the guy who was refereeing the West Brom game give the fucking penalty for a guy who would get slapped in the face by a ball 1 yards out of his box and get a penalty for that? And yet some guy Superman punched a frigging, not only Rodon in the face, but the ball away from him, an audible that I could hear from like 20 yards away, and think, how the fucking hell anyone with any eyes or ears couldn't have given that bloody penalty is just beyond me. So sometimes I just think, is the EFL corrupt? Not that we'd ever chuffing prove it, or everyone would call us Tim Pot for saying so, but sometimes you just think, I do wonder.
Did you see the second one?
Fucking don't they? Are
by you? Sorry, the first one. I mean, we'll talk about the 09 one. Yeah, sorry. Right. They were basically, what was the centre-back called? It begins with a B.
Bullard.
Bastard. Sorry.
Ballard, yeah, that was it. And he's leant and his elbow slightly out. You could sort of like, yeah, okay, then he's accident or whatever. But the second one, it looked to me like 09 put his fist in front of Rodon's face, because Rodon were going to connect with it on purpose. And now the ref's got to look through our sea of bodies, but how is he not seeing it? He's got to have a clear view. For me, I don't want to be that fan that moans, the EFL is corrupt.
He would in line with me. He would directly in line with me. From where he was, the players are, and I was smack bang in line with the referee, and I could see it quite clearly. And so could literally everyone else in the stadium, barring the referee and the linesman.
Yeah.
So tell me.
Later on, it is. It's. Remember when you seen a West Brom penalty by any chance, anyone?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The guy that
his head outside.
You're not listening.
Yeah, outside of the.
Were you in Dreamland?
Fucking hell, mate. Come on.
Right, I felt like I was asleep with my eyes open. Sorry, I just there's a lot of pressure,
Just reading out.
Getting him
Yeah.
back to falling asleep at the ground, didn't you?
That's it.
Yeah.
Shit house.
So
Just to keep you updated as well, it's 0-0 still. 17 minutes in.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Evie, for reporting that. She'll be back.
Live reporter.
Thank you, Steve Meister.
Steve Meister. She's
On the scene, Evie.
She's live from the chopper, the Nalp chopper. What's the weather, Evie? Yeah.
What does the chopper look like? A living room.
It's windy, of course. It's Plymouth. That's all the weather that they ever have is just wind and rain.
It's a green screen, James. Yeah. So later on just to round up on the on the Sunderland game, I thought the subs were way too late again. James, do you think this is down to Parker's is it his mistake, or you know what I mean? What's your opinion on that? I thought they were way too late. They should have come on at least 20 minutes early because you can't have an impact with 8 minutes to go. So I mean, and the added time as well. Go on, mate.
Yeah, the problem is they played exactly how they did the last time we played them, and it was like we fell into the same trap of not being able to penetrate on. He needed to change it up. He needed to do something different. Yeah, don't be rude, Daniel.
Sorry, you said it.
In your face. Thinking about something else. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard. There is that. You could tell that we didn't want to concede and we weren't taking risks. That was a big thing for that I noticed about us. It was very conservative, and it was like they were reluctant to play that long ball over because I think getting that clean sheet was really, really important. But do you know what, mate? I think now we've got it, we're going to be good. Super good. Yeah.
Good. That's what I like to hear. Right, yeah. So obviously that's Coventry and Sunderland covered. So I would like to talk about a little game that we play on this podcast. If you're new here, it's called Guess the Player. Now it's everyone's favourite game. Evie loves it. She keeps DMing me saying, "Can we play Guess the Player?" But no, you'll have to wait for Friday. So if you're new here, how it goes is that I put up on the screen for about 5 or 6 seconds. I play all players with boxes, question marks over their heads, and you have to take in the scenery, the type of kit they've got on, and try and guess the player. Or I'm generous like that. So here it goes. This is this week's Guess the Player. So are you confident? Who's these players this week? Who do you think? And I can tell you that these had a rivalry for decades. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'd like to see in the comments as well your guesses. Everybody knows how this game is played. I will come to Evie last. It's I'll come to you, James.
A few consonants there.
I'm gonna guess Zordon and Rita.
Oh, what a shout, mate! That's a good shout. Smarty, will come to you.
I think the one in the white could be Charlie Chaplin, and the second one could be Optimus Prime.
The famous duo.
Optimus Prime has had a good career, and he was on a previous episode with Bumblebee, actually. So you never know, players can reappear. No holds barred on this podcast. Eve Hamster.
I feel like I've nailed this one. Peggy Mitchell and Pat Butcher.
Evie's nailed Peggy Butcher.
And Peggy.
Peggy Butcher. I just combined them.
I can't say what I was about to say. Let's see. Let's see what some comments said that they think it are. Einar, in good fashion, has said Bowser and Benjamin Button. Ellen Road Review, Pele Maradona. We've got Shrek and his cat. We've got Bill and Ben, the Flower Pot Men. All good guesses. However,
I thought that was just Kevin James.
Behave yourself. We're going on an adventure. So these two had a very good rivalry throughout the decades, and it is. Are you ready? Drum roll, please. It's Prince and Michael Jackson throughout the noughties and in the 90s. Obviously, they had a really good rivalry throughout that time.
Michael Jackson, formerly of Watford, of course.
Of course, yeah. Then you know that. They had a good career, mate. You know, they scored. Plymouth are winning, by the way.
Fuck off.
1-0
Yeah, they've
Plymouth.
just scored. Bundu.
Up the Pilgrim Bastards. Yeah,
Oh,
It said-
thanks for that.
me. That was
Up the
fucking
boat
awful.
shaggers.
Yeah. And you know,
Come on.
what
Could
Michael
we
Jackson
really
once said-
be that lucky?
Michael Jackson once said, "Check them out."
I've had
Right,
one
let's
shot
moving
and
on.
I scored. It looks like.
Let's have a look at this goal. Cuts in the box. Oh, it's a great finish from outside the 6-yard box, curled into the far right hand post. I should do commentary. Joe's got it easy. I can do this. Tune in Saturday on the line. Let's talk about Blackburn.
Shoot outside boxes.
Don't get me
You've got to shoot the
started.
ball, then.
That's been one of my pet peeves
Oh,
the
yeah.
entire season.
Yes.
In with
mine's-
my head in
mine
there.
as well.
Let's go. Have you got your veil ready, Evie? Because we've got some news, haven't we? We've been given some devastating news this week. Stuey Dallas, or Stuart, as I call him, because we're mates. Just text me,
Stewie
actually.
D.
Thanks for the shout out.
Stewbot.
Yeah, thanks for the shout out. He just said he's decided to retire. He's obviously having issues with his leg. I think it was his knee as well. He was saying, Evie, your heart may pour out.
Yeah, it was. I'm not gonna lie. There's been quite a few onions been cut around my household
Making a stew.
yesterday. Yeah, it was. The thing was, I wasn't surprised, but at the same time, absolutely gutted because he would have been. I would have probably. I know I'm not usually very sentimental, but I probably would have given him like an extension to actually play and say goodbye next year, regardless of what league we were in. I wouldn't have given Aylin or Cooper an extension, but I would have done to Dallas. But yeah, what really choked me up was the video of him telling everybody, like telling the lads, and he was, and Cooper got straight up like the, great captain that he is, got straight up there and arm round the shoulder and everything, and was there and supporting him and stuff. But I was absolutely gutted. I apologise if I don't know whether anybody could hear my dogs. Then they were just barking.
Dog.
Yeah,
Found
I've got two dogs. So yeah,
Having a party in kitchen. Whoop!
it was one of my dogs barking.
Friday.
Yeah, she talks more than I do, to be fair, which is saying something. But yeah, absolutely devastated. But I would love it if we do have it wrapped up before the Southampton game. I'd love to see him substituted on in like the 90th minute to just say that. Yeah, I just think that would be the ultimate way to be able to say goodbye to him properly. And fingers crossed, I don't know whether you saw the video by Parag saying that hopefully his journey at Leeds isn't ending here kind of thing. So hopefully that means coaching badges and, things like that at the club. Because, yeah, I would love that. I think he's got so much to offer. And just because you can't actually play yourself doesn't mean that you can't, help the next generation. And he's got a great mentality, and that would just that would be a twist to a fairy tale that has ended not the way that we wanted it to.
Yeah, I agree. I've heard that he's they've offered him a coaching role, which will be great. Obviously, I don't think that the Leeds United would just say, right, you retire and move along sort of thing. I could see him being Northern Ireland manager in the future, because I just genuinely think he is a good guy. You just said again, thanks for the shout out. It's all right, Stuart, mate. Yeah, come on if you want. Smarty, what's your thoughts? He's a great servant to the club. Like, two things stick out to me when I think of Stuart Dallas. is the Pablo assist when he scored against Stoke away, and
Stoke
obviously the
goal,
Man City and Man City away. What about you, mate? What's your feelings on it?
For me, I kind of, acted this last night. For me, the most Dallas moment, or probably the most Dallas game, unfortunately ended in defeat, but that was the semi-final second game against Derby in the playoffs. Sorry, when he literally, he literally grabbed that team by the scruff of the neck, saying, "We aren't fucking out yet. This is how we're going to get on." And that first goal that he scored. I mean, I can actually make myself out in the picture and stuff. The absolute bedlam that goal caused, easily, the whole team's going absolutely off it, and he did it again. He bust his absolute guts in for that team, and we were really, really privileged to have him. And like you say, if he's in a coaching role or whatever, that's fantastic to keep that kind of mentality and that kind of person around the club. And hopefully, he instills all this confidence and that kind of Stuart Dallas-ness into the next generations and stuff, because he's a unique player and a very, very special person and a fucking brilliant professional.
A unique player. I mean, I've got his heat map here, and I believe it's from. I think you showed it on yours last night. And it basically looks like my toast in the morning. Look at that! Look at all that red.
Forever. It's forever heat map.
Yeah,
for Leeds.
Yeah. It's great. I mean, he's Mr. Utility, isn't he, James?
Yeah. Really sad. Really sad.
He's
not
Mr.
that actually. He was just
not Mr. Utility.
Utensil.
Thank you.
Utensil. I was just oh, all this banter.
Yeah,
He's more than that.
With that on.
He is more than that, though.
He's a utensil player.
He was an absolute. He was good in every position he played as well. I don't know why they didn't start playing him up front, because I reckon he would have scored a few goals, because he could finish. Like Dallas could finish. Yeah, it is sad. I mean, I don't know about being a manager of Ireland yet. He might just be a barman at least.
Well, Northern Ireland.
Yeah, obviously. Not yet,
Northern Ireland,
but in
whatever.
future, potentially.
He might just be like, nah, I'll stay at Leeds to be a barman. This will do me.
Yeah. Work in Trinity. Just to have a pop-up Northern Irish food. Yeah.
Just hover around.
Yeah, so, yeah.
Irish dancing.
Jake, let's move on then, because we don't want to talk about. We'll start crying and swapping stories and stuff about him around a campfire or something soon. JK has reared his ugly head again, because the Leeds have dropped their appeal, and Leeds have got to pay 24 million to him. Right, Victor Orta signed him for £93,000 a week in the Championship.
Absolutely worth it. What a player.
Hold your head in shame. 54 minutes we got out of him.
That's not entirely true.
Well,
your sources are wrong. I think the potential to earn £93,000 a week, which is why he's claimed the however many millions per year. I think it was only a partial payment that we were paying whilst he was on loan at the club. So from when his initial contract
we still have to pay the next week now.
Yeah, we do now, because basically we did sign him, although we didn't sign him, so there's no retainer. But the 93 grand is from when he should have signed, not whilst he was on loan. So we didn't pay 93 grand a week for him, but that is what his contracted was when he were going to start the contract.
Never say stats in front of Smarty.
Normally I won't give a shit, mate, but I thought, actually.
You and Luke are always.
Do you know what, mate? I've been really, really quiet for the last few weeks on Twitter. I've given it a wide berth. Unfortunately, I had a close bereavement in the last few weeks, so I've been really off it. But I'm firing now, so you must get your fucking facts right, sunshine. I'll be getting it up, yeah. I'm making my big
for the first time
on Twitter this weekend.
Keep it clean, Smarty. It's a family show.
All Murphy,
right, obviously. Yes, we are. Yes, up the Murphy Hill. Actually, I just doxed myself. I mean, up the Yorkshire area. Right, with the accounts have dropped today. Evie, do you know anything about the accounts? Because I don't.
They look spicy, but they're not as bad.
That's what I say about curries.
It looks really bad, but if you're not making a loss in football, you're not doing it right, is essentially what we've learnt by all of these accounts. Because I don't understand. unless you're an actual multi-billionaire that has just a real kind of just a tendency to like towards what's sadistic side, why on earth would you ever own a football club? There is no financial benefit to owning a football club. You just hemorrhage money by the looks of it. You know, you just absolutely annihilate any kind of resources that you've got and wealth, because you're talking about stupid money, you know, for everything. And it doesn't, you know, they don't make nice reading, do the accounts, but we're still okay. We're still okay. Yeah. Is the top and bottom of it. We're not Leicester or Forest or Everton kind of thing. We're fine.
I started to watch. If you haven't already, guys, go and watch Auto Better's latest video with Luke, is it Jer and Kieran Maguire? I hope that's right. And basically he said we paid 170 million for players, but didn't pay for them. We put it on the credit cards, and that just makes me hate Victor Orta even more, and just go out.
A lot of clubs do it that way. They spread out the cash. They don't like.
Rare,
we received, you know, sums for Calvin Phillips and Rafinha up front because fortunately someone knew what they were doing at Leeds. However, on the flip side, money going out, they decided to spread it around like wild dog shit.
Yeah, you got to watch out for that, haven't you? Right, let's move on to because it's coming up to an hour, and I don't want to keep people around because I know that James has got his paintballing assassination attempts to do later on. Blackburn tomorrow. I don't know. Just random chaos on
the paint a wall, mate.
Painting your balls.
Yeah, yeah. It's Jackass 5, England version. Smite, I'll come back to you, mate. First thing. Do you make changes for tomorrow?
I think so. I would like to see Archie Gray move into the middle and Connor Roberts at right back. I would move Kamara out of the middle. I think that's probably the only change at the moment.
Really? Okay.
So
Evie?
if I saw Nonto replace Daniel James or Summerville, I wouldn't be too peed off. But I think at the minute I'd keep it the same. Just that one change.
Okay. Evie?
I agree with that change, but I would swap Rutter out for Nonto because I think if you have Summerville on the left and Nonto on the right and Bamford in the middle, he doesn't get any service from either one of those players at all. Summerville never crosses. Nonto doesn't cross either. They both come in, like cut in and take the shot on themselves. They don't pass to Bamford. So if you take Dan James out, you are essentially nullifying Bamford's attack, which then just creates animosity and backlash and things. So I think we need to utilize the right hand side. I don't want to see, and I think because I don't know whether you all saw, like Archie Gray was stood on the sidelines going like this, you know, getting attention. You know, by the sounds of it, from what I saw on the TV, Ellen Road was shouting to pass the ball over to the right as well. So if they do utilize the right hand side, Bamford becomes more effective. If you go down the left, the only person on the left willing to cross the ball to Bamford is Firpo. And then if you've got a team who can counter-attack, do you really want Firpo in the opposition, like 6 yard box? Well, not 6 yard box, like 9 yard box, crossing the ball into Bamford. You don't want that kind of thing. You don't want your left back, who's notoriously not good at getting back quickly without receiving a yellow card, to be that high up on the pitch. Utilize Dan James. He's good. Let him do. So yeah, that I would take Nonto out, and then you can swap and put Rutter in, and then it gives Rutter something to fight for. I don't think any player should feel comfortable in their position. I think they should all think, I've got to be on my best behaviour type of thing, because otherwise I could be dropped. And I think the only exception to that right now is probably Summerville, because realistically, the only person that can replace him is Nonto on that left-hand side. So yeah, he's probably the only person who has done enough consistently throughout the season that he can be a little bit cocky with his position kind of thing. But everybody else should be droppable. Like everybody else should fear that they could be dropped. They're not going to be dropped because it's Farker and he doesn't drop people unless it's absolutely necessary. And like, you know,
outside a nightclub.
They've got like kidneys and stuff coming out, and you know, like it's fine, just put some wet paper towel on it and get back on the pitch, kind of thing. So that's how we did it in the 90s. So, oh God, not Warnock.
Go on then, James. Give us your lineup if you make any changes, buddy.
I think he might play Perot there instead of Nanto. You know, I mean, I'd like to see Nanto there. I think he could do it. I think he'll. If he's going to take him out, I think he puts Perot there more than Nanto.
Yeah.
But I think, the change, I would like to see the Atsgrade change, to be honest with you. I would like to see what will come out of the team as well, to be honest with you. I agree. I'd like to see him come out just to see if it does give him a kick up the arse. I know what he can do, but he's just been, since even before his hernia, he had his games, didn't he, where he just weren't doing anything for about 70 minutes.
Well, that was probably because he was playing with a hernia, if you think about it.
Now he needs to, maybe give him a little rest. And,
think about that midfield on Tuesday though. They packed out the midfield. They won the battle of the midfield. You know, quite easily, really. And when you've got so many players around him, you know, all times you've always got 2, maybe even 3 players around Rutter. He's coming back from an injury. His confidence is probably on the floor. You know, he's gonna struggle. But the thing is, I would rather have a Rutter that can play for 89 minutes, but that 1 minute do something absolutely magical.
Yeah,
because you never know what he's gonna bring. You never know, and so for me, you probably do leave him in the team because those teams that do back off him. I think so. You're absolutely damn right. He won't chuff and change, will he? But you know, against a team that gives him a bit more respect and a little bit, you know, play off him a little bit more, he thrives in that sort of environment. When he's right up against it and he's got 3 players stuck in the frigging fingers up his ass, then he's ineffective, and it's, you know, that's when you get your mistakes from him. Summerville lost the ball like 28 times on Tuesday. You know, and luckily for Summerville, he is a fantastic player, probably our player of the season, but there are mistakes and many, many mistakes, but because he's got so much credit in the bank, we're not as quick to kind of fire bullets towards him. But he's also been playing really poorly.
Yeah, yes.
No, the thing is nobody's been playing well.
No, exactly.
Like literally nobody on that team. It's a concerning thing when you think about the players who are probably having their best games for us. It's Firpo. Like Firpo's right up there. Yeah, with one of our best players. And it's really concerning when Firpo is one of your best players. Oh, where's Danny gone?
He's gone.
When he's one of your best players. When he's one of your best players, you know that shit's gone wrong, kind of thing. Yeah. Like that shouldn't be the case.
He's good at this level though. This is his.
Yeah, he is. He is.
And like I say, he's not having to defend too much, is he? You know, and that's the reason why we're brought in. He's an overlapping. He's that overlapping kind of a wing back that Bielsa wanted because it was Bielsa's player. You know, and he's really effective doing that.
Don't you think it's
a completely different conversation?
Don't you think it's quite sad that we're seeing the players that Bielsa wanted finally thrive, but under a different manager? You know, Dan James, Firpo, you know, both of those players he wanted, and he never actually really got the best out of them because we were so crippled and in the Premier League, so you couldn't give them time to see that, you know, Dan James. Yeah, well, that's the thing. But, you know, he wanted Dan James when we were in the Championship.
In the Premier League, wasn't he?
Yeah, and for me, we need at least one left back, if not 2 left backs, when we go up.
I think we'll.
I just want a team of left backs, in all honesty, because we'll never get them again. So we might as well. We'll just have a full 11 of left backs. You know, Stuart Dallas is, that you could say utensil players.
Utensil players, absolutely. People that can play absolutely everywhere and do all sorts of different things. I think, you know, we will see a mass overhaul of the defence in the new year.
Yeah.
I don't know what the situation is with Rodon. I don't know what the situation will be with Connor Roberts either. but we do. I mean, people bang on about strike.
His internet's gone down.
Oh, is it really?
Oh, where's my... Okay,
it just decided to just cut me off. Vodafone, you gits. Sorry about that.
I've got to admit, though, Danny, that the level of the podcast just skyrocketed up.
It's about 3,000 viewers.
I'll watch it back. Yeah, they're probably gone. No, if Donny's not here, the sole reason why I'm here. Right, I don't know what you talked about, but
I was just going to tell you. I was just going to fill you in.
Come on, not again.
I say now. That's for later. I was just saying that I can see quite a big overhaul of the defence next year, and players like I think Cresswell will leave. I think you've already said I think Gellert will be gone, and there'll be others. Shackleton, he's not going to stick around. I think there'll be quite a lot of those sort of fringe players that will be off. Hopefully we can keep Alderweireld on, but nothing's set in stone yet. And like I say, Roberts, who knows? But I think we're going to need to bolster the defence next year.
Yeah, I'm just going to assume that you made really good content, and we'll move on because we've just gone over an hour, and I don't want to keep everyone too late. 41 minutes played, and Plymouth are still winning 1-0. Come on, you pilgrims, Kingston, bothering buggers. Right, so if you are new here, what we're going to do now is something called Top Knob. Now, what we do is if anyone has annoyed you throughout the week, we put them in the Top Knob basket. As it's just been Easter, and we see who gets the most votes. I am the casting vote, so let's get into this week's Top Knob.
Top Knob.
Boom! So we are into Top Knob territory. Evie, I'll put you first.
Ooh. Well, I'm going to go left field because I think at some point somebody will mention the linesman or the referee. So I'm not going to say them because I think that's an obvious choice. So I'll go somewhat different and then anybody else can choose it. I'm going to go with Jesse Marsh for his tactics of be super aggressive, fight and win and break your legs and end your career. That's why I am voting for Jesse Marsh for ending Stuart Dallas's career.
Yeah, and not Jack Grealish's calves.
No, because at the end of the day, Stuart Dallas did go in for the challenge. I know Jack Grealish's calves are man of steel kind of calves. They're a thing of utter amazement, in all honesty.
In the sunshine, apparently.
Money buys you, still calves.
But yeah, I vote for Jesse Marsh's fight and win and be aggressive tactics as my top knob.
That's very well. What about you, James? International break again, I assume?
No, I'm actually going to go for the little twat that punched the ball. Not because he did that, and it was that bit he did after, like proper on camera, like as if he'd hurt his hand. I was like,
it's almost like the Bamford elbow celebration.
Yeah. You've seen him run up, all the defenders run up to the ref going handball, and he's there going. I was like, you bastard.
Yeah, which according to a Rotherham fan, by the way, Bamford's elbow solely relegated them. Not the fact that we're crap all season.
Good. Right in the face. Good.
What about you, Smarty?
Do you know what? I was going to go for the obvious choice, but like Evie says, it's a little bit too obvious. I'm going to go for Victor Orta because he's a complete and utter knob slice and left our club in a little bit of a sticky situation with regards to the accounts. Hopefully we'll be okay. But yeah, he's definitely getting top knob because as we've all seen in the accounts and stuff and everyone shitting the pants on Twitter and stuff, it seems to be a right old pickle.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to have to second you there, Smarty, because I hate the frog-faced git. It looks like a Spanish Fredo, a melted Fredo.
I wonder how much Spanish Fredos are. Do you think they're as expensive as English, British Fredos?
10%.
No.
10%.
James is living back in the 1990s, it seems.
Yeah,
Right, yeah. So I will go with Smarty on this. So Victor Otter, you are always going to be and still are a top knob.
Top knob.
Right, we're nearly there, Smarty. Don't worry, mate. Evie loves this podcast. She didn't want to leave. She just texted me there saying, "Please make it last longer." I'm only joking. I like to bully her. I don't know why. So I've got some improvements this week on the NALF 3000, Smarty. Are you ready to see the NALF 3000 this week?
I am indeed. I cannot wait. My toes are tingling with excitement.
Well, let them tingle away. Beep, beep.
Calculating. Question found. It's the 90th minute, and it's a free kick to Leeds' edge of the box. Who takes it? Ian Hart, Pablo, or Rafinha?
Sorry about that, everyone. I don't. It's got a mind of its own. I do apologise. You shouldn't be seeing that. I'll have a word with it. I'll have to speak to its mum when I get home. So I will come to Evie.
Yours, Mum, you made him.
I'm both his mum and his father. I'll have a word with myself in the mirror. Evie, who's taking that free kick for you?
I'm torn.
Natalie Brilliant is there.
What's this?
That's it.
That emoji. What is that emoji? I can't see
I
it.
think it's a laughing face.
It's a laughing fish.
The piss
Fish.
Pac-Man.
I don't know whether it's a fish. It just looks like a laughing fish. I'm gonna go with Rafinha.
Nice, Rafinha. A good choice. Good choice. What about you, Smartster? Smarty Pants? Smarterini?
My favourite Leeds player of all time, Pablo Hernandez.
Yeah, that's a good shout. Who do you think? Right, I'll go you, James. Who you?
Ian Hart, mate. Ian Hart.
Fucking
They're all great
fraud.
free kick takers.
Free
Fraud.
kick taking hero, mate.
Fucking fraud. He only scored a couple of decent ones.
Oh, mate.
Only a couple of
It's
decent
only we're good.
ones.
That's all they were good at.
My era, mate.
Yes.
Man.
I know, but it's all they were good at. It was shit football.
Yeah, that's the whole point.
Yeah, but it's not about being a
It's not
James
James
footballer.
play.
Ward-Prowse.
Who
It's not
scores
like
a free
it's
kick?
James Ward-Prowse, who are renowned for taking free kicks and does fuck all else. He literally scored a couple of free kicks in his entire career,
Yeah.
and now he's a fucking shithouse agent.
He's my yeah, he's a prick now, but free kicks. I'll have him.
No, not
I'll
him,
take
you.
him.
I'm
Oh,
joking.
thanks.
I'm joking. Mate. Yeah, he's
I would
can't do
go.
it. He's Jack
would.
Clark's agent, isn't he, as well? Sorry.
Yeah.
He is.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Prick.
All right. Yeah, he is. Apart from that, I think I'd go with Pablo as well because I love him, man. Ever since that Swansea's.
Copying me, Dan. Just stop
yeah,
it.
it's wants to be ya.
I want to be you. I want the
He said,
hair.
"I'm gonna
I
put a hat on.
want to wear
Smarty
hats
wear a
like
hat."
you.
That's what
I
he
want to.
said.
I want to be as tall as you. That ever since I met you in the Peacock, I've followed you up. The curtains are nice, by the way, and it looks really warm inside from your windows.
I don't like having my curtains pulled because I've got some nice blinds. And you can't see them, the sun's shining. I've got some nice blinds. Anyway.
Here we are at Homes Under the Hammer. Right, yeah, so that is the end of this week's podcast. We have done an hour and 13 minutes, a new record, I
Wow.
think.
Surprised Smarty didn't fall
So,
asleep.
for those that have stuck around, thanks for watching. Smarty
I'm
was
entertained,
you've got
James. That's why. I'm
Yes.
Still going strong.
We succeeded where
Smarty.
these failed.
I know you had, was it B&C last night or the main pod last night?
No, it was the main pod. We didn't do a BNC for Sunderland because we are also, quite popular and so engaged in other activities throughout the week. But there is a Baradi and Cook on Sunday, and I believe it will be myself and Gilly.
Ooh.
Unless you want to come on.
Ooh.
I might do.
Fancy it?
It depends. It depends what time.
It'll be
You
morning.
get your people to talk to our people.
Yeah, I'll send you an email.
Send the contracts through. Yeah. So, Evie, what's
Send the
anything going
pigeon.
on with your channel, or is it still on the back burner?
It's still on. It's pending. It's pending.
Right.
I'm going on holiday. I'm going on holiday on the last day of the season,
Fucking
and
hell.
I know. I'll be in Tunisia watching, and probably getting drunk either way, whether we go up or whether it's playoffs. First day of the holidays, a complete write-off. I will be absolutely hammered, regardless.
I actually messaged Evie. Did you watch the Coventry game? No, sorry, I was off my head on gin all day. She was absolutely blottoed. She didn't miss much.
So none of us actually watched the game.
I did. I did.
All right, well done.
I didn't like what I watched. Yeah, so make sure you go, and it's at Discourse of Peacocks for Evie and Ought to Know Better with Smarty, Luke, Gilly, Brendan in the background, and I'm missing two, Carl and...
Come on.
There's a little one.
No, wait, it's coming. It's coming.
You went to space.
There's two little ones. You've only named three plus one that who's done really do a right line back.
Smarty, Gilly, Luke, Carl, and the guy from Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah. And Bren. Jay. All day. I'm only joking. You know, I love you. Right, yes. Yeah, so,
the halfling.
Yeah, we will be back on Sunday for the Sunday Club. Hopefully, talking about, or we will be talking about 3 points, glorious points today at Ellen Road. Please do like us.
Yes.
We're nearly at 600 subscribers, and once we get to 600, I will throw a cherry bakewell in his bare legs. Thanks very much, and hopefully we will see you Sunday, and we will see you next week. So thanks for watching.